Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. How are you everyone? I hope that you are doing well. Okay, welcome to our class, UTK2012 Creative Thinking and Problem Solving. And this is the second week of our class, and I hope that you will enjoy this topic. So last week we have discussed a lot about thinking. Okay, I have introduced you to thinking process. Okay, what is thinking? How our brains work in thinking process, and then how our memory works, and also we look at how Islam perceive the thinking process. Okay, for this week we're gonna discuss on thinking style. Okay, so let's take a look at this picture. What can you see from this picture? Okay, it looks like someone trying to tie the rope. Okay, following the direction of the nails, and we can see the image of what we call it is a lamp or mantle. Okay, so I think all of you have your own perception. Okay, we can look or we can perceive this image from different perspective. Okay, so this is how our brains work. Okay, and this is what we are going to talk about. Okay, about the thinking styles. Okay, class. There are 3 learning outcomes. Okay, number 1, to understand the various styles of thinking and their purpose. Number 2 is to be aware of the importance of style of thinking in solving a problems. And number 3 is to be able to use different thinking style to solve a problem. So, from this learning outcome, we can conclude that actually there are many thinking styles, okay, that we can use, okay, to solve various problems. So it might be like mathematical problem. For example, okay, we will use a mathematical thinking style or analytical thinking style. Okay. So class, actually Islam encourages us to be creative and use our creative thinking. Okay, actually the Quran is definitely able to create a new intellectual atmosphere. Okay, and also generating ideas in a society is a prerequisite for civilization. So for a Muslim, okay, as we have discussed last week, okay, thinking is a very important, and it has a special place in Islam. Okay, by having Quran, okay, Quran is contributing to the new knowledge or new intellectual atmosphere for us to understand why something happened. Okay, and also the creation around us. Okay, and how can we generate the ideas to make a better society. Okay. Okay, and another part of thinking style that we need to understand, okay, the basic concept of Islam. Okay, Islam actually frees the human mind. Okay, it's not like it's not like the thinking process is very strict. Okay, but it's kind of like very open. Okay, but there is some guideline and limitation. Okay, so it frees human mind actually from the domination of materialistic desire, our nafs. Okay, and second one, Islam encourages to use a variety of thinking styles. Okay, it can be reflected from the hadith and also the Al-Quran. When someone read it, the Al-Quran or hadiths, okay, they can understand in their own way. Okay, because we have a very different level of cognitive, and we can understand it by our level of thinking. Okay, and number 3, of course, human mind and capability is Allah creation. So every style of thinking is carefully and effectively used to fulfill certain objective, because Allah have created our brain that have a capability to solve a problem. Okay, so what is thinking style? Okay, thinking style is a way of thinking, okay, which we use or prefer to use when applying our intelligence and knowledge to solve problem or undertaken a given course of action. So we can have many different thinking style. Okay, depends on the problem, depends on the situation. Okay, so it's about how we apply our knowledge or our learned information in our mind that we have learned previously, okay, or our intelligence to solve a problem. So one problem can have many ways of thinking or can have many solutions, okay, and it also depends on how we think about it. Okay, so what's the purpose of the thinking style? Okay, number one is to solve the problem and make a decision more effectively. Okay, second one is to look at various options and perspectives before making a decision, and lastly, to view a given problem more systematically. Okay, this is very very important because of what? When we have a problem, actually, okay, we tend to think a lot of things, or maybe sometimes we become overthinking. So we are trying to expect more things, or we expect something that may not be happen yet. Okay, so from that we can plan, and also we can organize our thinking and look at it from different perspective, and also to look at it from other points of view, so that we can get more solutions, and we will try the solutions to solve the problem more effectively. Okay, so in thinking styles, there are similarities from Islamic perspective and Western perspective. So in this topic, we're going to discuss 6 thinking styles, okay, that have the same purpose, okay, the same criteria, and also we can use it we can use it in our daily lives. Okay, so number one is intuitive thinking style. Okay, number two is scientific thinking style. Number three is rational thinking style. Number five is emotional thinking style. And number six is positive thinking style. Okay, number one. Number one is intuitive thinking style. Okay, if we can look at this name, or we can look at the words intuitive. Okay, maybe we can point out it as a intuition. Okay, intuitive. So what we call it, the origin word might be intuition. So what is intuition? Okay, mostly as a human, okay, all of us believe that we have our own intuition. So intuitive thinking style, it is related to insight and inspiration given to Muslim, okay, or in another words, okay, we can call it as ilham, okay, in Malay. So intuitive thinking style was produced by using a reasoning and intellectual in the right manner, okay, by the means of Allah revelation. And it is characterized by the way we make a decision without having ample facts or information. So mostly mostly we can have a problem, or we can face a problem that we are not expecting, and also we don't have enough information to solve the problem because we don't have any experience before. So there are 4 conditions, okay, that usually encourage someone to use a intuitive thinking style. So number one is it's happen when someone need to make a decision when they have no information at all on which to base a decision to be taken. Okay, number two, they have a lots of information, but the information is not relevant, okay, in order to make the decision. Okay, number three, we can take more than one decision. Okay, we have many ideas or many solutions. Okay, but every decision is either equally good or equally bad. So either we choose A or we choose B, there is the same good or bad effect. Okay, and lastly, we are in a hurry and do not have time to search for information, so we need to make a quick decision at that moment. Okay, for example, when you go hiking with your friends to a new place that you are not really familiar and you was lost in the jungle, so what would you do? Okay, you don't have any information about it. Okay, and at the same time, when it's come to the evening, okay, you need to find a place to sleep, okay, and a place to save yourself, and also you need to find a what we call it help from other people. So what would you do? So this kind of thing, a situation, will encourage you to use your intuition. So for Muslim, usually we will pray to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala to help us, okay, escape from the trouble. Okay, so it might be ilham or petunjuk, okay, guidance, okay, Allah give us to us in order to escape from the situation. Okay, so number 2 is a scientific thinking style. Okay, what is the scientific thinking style? Okay, I think all of you have experienced lab work, okay, during your secondary school. Okay, we have lots of experiment in science courses, or maybe chemical, chemistry, physics or biology courses. Okay, so it's kind of related to scientific thinking style. So the Quran actually enhanced the thinking ability of a man in the matters of natural sciences, encourages to study nature. So scientific thinking style enables someone to realize the greatness of Allah and to think for the betterment of Ummah. It's kind of like we look at the very specific thing and we try to think it systematically, okay, and to solve it for making a better life. Okay, praising and enabling the pen and admiring acquisition of knowledge were among the first verses of the Quran. Okay, and the Quran mentions certain scientific facts about heaven and earth, ocean, mountain, fatal stages, and other matters that preceded scientific discovery. As we know, there are many scientists have embraced Islam as their religion when they found the greatness of Al-Quran. Even though they have done with many experiments to show or to prove something. However, Quran have come first before the scientific discovery to explain the phenomenon. So from Western perspective, there are 4 components involved in scientific thinking style. Number 1 is objective, number 2 is hypothesis, number 3 is data collection, and number 4 is verification. For example, okay, I think this is the example that we can use to explain how herbs can help someone be more energetic. Okay, for example, like tongkat Ali. So we have our own hypothesis and we want to search for the evidence. Okay, we want to prove that tongkat Ali can make someone more energetic. So what should we do? Systematically, we will collect the data, okay, make an experiment and get the result to show or to verify the objective that we have stated, or to verify or to prove the hypothesis that we have made in the early process. Okay. From Quran, Surah Ar-Rahman, verse 19 to 21, He released the two seas meeting side by side. Between them is a barrier. Neither of them can transgress. Then which is it of the favors of your Lord that you deny? So from this ayah, actually we can see it's kind of like encourages to think about what happened around us. Okay, how can these two seas meeting side by side? Okay, one is salted sea, okay, and one is like a natural sea. So the evidence is, okay, when we make an experiment or we search for the knowledge, okay, by using a scientific thinking style, okay, we will found what happened in our world. Okay, there is a what we call the meeting of the two seas, Mediterranean seas and Atlantic seas, okay, at the Gibraltar Straits. And from science evidence, okay, it was shown that the Mediterranean sea water has a very high salinity compared to Atlantic Ocean. Okay, however, it was not mixed to each other. Okay, and this is proof. This is the evidence. Okay, that shows scientifically um, the words of Allah is truth. Okay. Okay, number 3 class is a rational thinking style. Can you see the picture of two people, okay, having a distance in 1 meter? Okay, from this picture, what is the reason, okay, why we need to have a social distancing, okay, during the pandemic and the current situation? So, when we start to think about what's the reason or why something happened or why social distancing must be practiced, okay, this come to the third thinking style. We call it a rational thinking style. So rational thinking style refer to the reasoning process, okay, and when someone endowed with the reason, okay, exercising one reason in the proper manner and make it a sound judgment. So this is the process of rational thinking style. We try to make a reason, okay, to make a logic why something is happened. In Islam, there are many concepts of rationality. Okay, how Islam encourages to be rational. Okay, first one, by having a conceptual rationality in order to minimize fuzziness and imprecision. Okay, number 2 is logical rationality. Okay, how it can be a logical rationality by striving for consistency and avoiding contradiction. Okay, so we have a very consistent evidence or consistent reason. So it's kind of like show the logic between the problem or between the solution. Okay, number 3 is methodological rationality. Okay, it's refer to the process of questioning, doubting, criticizing, justifying, and demanding proof of evidence. So it's help us to be rational. Okay, number 4 is epistemological rationality. Okay, epistemological refer to the source of knowledge, okay, caring for empirical support and avoiding conjecture. Okay, so that will make us become more rational. Okay, number 5 is ontological rationality. Okay, we become rational by adapting a constant worldview compatible with the bulk of the science and technology of the day. Okay, number 6 is a practical rationality. Okay, it's referred to someone adapting means that are likely to help attain the goals in the view. For example, when we try to achieve a good result in our study, okay, we will try many ways, okay, a practical solution, okay, in order to help us to gain the objective. And lastly is valuation rationality. Okay, valuation rationality refer to our value, okay, that encourages to strive for the goals. So this kind of ideas actually encourage us to be rational, okay, to have a reason why something must be happen. And another part is the purpose of rational thinking style. There are many purposes of rational thinking style, especially from Islamic perspective. Okay, number 1 is to prove and affirm the existence of Allah and His oneness. So there are many ayah that actually show the evidence of the existence of Allah. Number 2 is to prove and affirm the day of judgment. So it will make us become more rational, because usually people think that there's only one stage of life. there is in dunya, but actually there are also a day of judgment that we cannot see until it's happened. So it was rationalized by some verses from the Al-Quran. And why we need to be rational? Okay, Islam encourages to be rational in order to attack the faulty reasoning of the existence of Allah and the hereafter and refuting misconception. So this is how rational thinking style is very, very important in our life as a Muslim. Okay, so how can we be rational? Okay, it depends on our experience, opinions, okay, what people say about it, what is the facts that have been presented and the data that show to us. Okay, it will be processed in our mind, and by having a rational thinking we will come out with a sound conclusion.